Hi, my name is Lydia. I run a website called trustedcoins.com. I sell authentic ancient Greek, Roman, and biblical coins and artifacts. Every item I sell, I provide with a lifetime guarantee of authenticity, a certificate of authenticity that provides you with a coin in a professional holder that's going to preserve it for generations to come, with a brief description of the coin, a professional color photograph of the item, and a professional description of the item, many times citing a major reference or collection where it could be found. And on the reverse side is the historical context of the item you bought. So whatever your interest, I have over 6,000 items in my store, so check it out. Today I'm going to be reading the biography of usurper, or you could say Roman Emperor, Clodius Albinus. He minted coins, so that's why I'm mentioning him. This is what Clodius Albinus looked like. Clodius Albinus was Roman usurper, proclaimed emperor by the legions in Britain and Hispania, the Iberian Peninsula comprising modern Spain and Portugal, upon the murder of Pertinax in 193 AD. Albinus was born into an aristocratic family at Hadrumetum in Africa. According to his father, he received the name of Albinus because of the extraordinary whiteness of his body. Showing great disposition for military life, he entered the army at an early age and served with great distinction, especially during the rebellion of Avidius Cassius against the Emperor Marcus Aurelius in 175 AD. His merits were acknowledged by the emperor in two letters in which he calls Albinus an African who resembled his countrymen but little, and who was praiseworthy for the military experience and gravity of his character. The emperor likewise declared that without Albinus the legions in Bithynia would have gone over to Avidius Cassius, and that he intended to have him chosen consul. The emperor Commodus gave Albinus a command in Gallia Belgica and afterwards in Britain. A false rumor having been spread that Commodus had died, Albinus denounced the man before his soldiers in Britain, calling Commodus a tyrant and maintaining that it would be useful to the empire to restore the Senate to its ancient dignity and power. The Senate was very pleased with these sentiments, but not so the emperor, who sent Junius Severus to relieve Albinus of his command. At the time, Albinus must have been a very distinguished man, which we may conclude from the fact that sometime before, Commodus had offered him the title of Caesar, which he declined. Notwithstanding the appointment of Junius Severus as his successor, Albinus kept his command until after the murders of Commodus and his successor Pertinax in 193. After Pertinax was assassinated, the Praetorian prefect Aemilius Laetus and his men who were arranged the murder sold the imperial throne to a wealthy senator, Didius Julianus, effectively crowning him emperor. But a string of mutinies from the troops in the provinces meant the next emperor was far from decided. Immediately afterwards, Pescennius Niger was proclaimed emperor by the legions in Syria, Septimius Severus by the troops in Illyricum and Pannonia, and Albinus by the armies in Britain and Gaul. In the civil war that followed, Albinus was initially allied with Septimius Severus, who had captured Rome, took his own name, Septimius, and accepted the title of Caesar from him. The two shared consulship in 194. Albinus remained effective ruler of much of the western part of the empire with the support of 3 British legions and 1 Spanish. When Didius Julianus was put to death by the order of the Senate, he dreaded the power of Septimius Severus. The latter turned his arms against Pescennius Niger. After the defeat, the death of Niger in 194, and then the complete discomfiture of his adherents, especially after the fall of Byzantium in 196, Severus resolved to make himself the absolute master of the Roman Empire. Albinus, seeing the danger of his position, prepared for resistance. He narrowly escaped being assassinated by a messenger of Severus, after which he put himself at the head of his army, which is said to have consisted of 150,000 men. In autumn of 196, Albinus proclaimed himself emperor, crossed from Britain to Gaul, bringing a large part of the British garrison with him. He defeated Severus' legate, Virius Lupus, and was able to lay him to the military council of Gaul. And although he made Lugdunum the headquarters of his forces, he was unable to win the legions of the Rhine legions. On February 19th, 197, Albinus met Severus' army at the Battle of Lugdunum. After a hard-fought battle with 150,000 troops on either side recorded by Dio Cassius, Albinus was defeated and killed himself, or was captured and executed on the orders of Severus. Severus had his naked body laid out on the ground before him, so that he could ride his horse over it in the final act of humiliation. If Albinus' wife and sons were initially pardoned by Severus, he appeared to almost immediately afterwards change his mind again. For as the dead Albinus was beheaded, so were they. Albinus' headless body had been thrown into the Rhine together with the corpses of his murdered family. His body was ill-treated by Severus, who sent his head to Rome as a warning to his supporters. With it, he sent an insolent letter in which he mocked the Senate for their loyalty to Albinus. The town of Lugdunum was plundered and destroyed, and the adherents of Albinus were cruelly persecuted by Severus. Albinus was a man of great bodily beauty and strength, and he was an experienced general, a skillful gladiator, a severe and often cruel commander, and he had been called the Catiline of his time. He had one son, or perhaps two, who were executed with his mother. But by order of Severus, it is said that he wrote a treatise on agriculture and a collection of stories called Milesian. Thank you very much for visiting my site, trustedcoins.com, to buy coins of this emperor and others.